everyone, welcome back to Healthful Living 365. Today we are talking about alcohol. Is it good or is it bad? This is a subject you do not want to miss. We will be addressing alcohol in general, but also wine. Stay tuned.
All right, I'm gonna give you number one right here and have you read that for us.
All right, it says the brain is divided into four lobes. What is the name of the lobe where judgment and decisions are made? I need to answer this.
Yeah.
I think it's the occipital lobe, is it not?
I need multiple choice, man. That's tough.
Okay,
I'm gonna say the frontal lobe.
Yes, you got it. That's easy. All right, that's
Not that easy, man. I don't know all four of the lobes. I just know that one.
I know. That's why I gave you that one.
Would that be the frontal cortex?
All right, yes, I like that. That is the frontal cortex. That's the frontal lobe. That's right. That's right. So it is the frontal lobe. And of course, the frontal lobe is actually responsible for your judgment. It's considered the judgment seat, right? Where you make your decisions and things like that. And how, and of course, you know, we're very familiar with what alcohol does to the brain, even to the mind when it's consumed, even especially when it's consumed excessively, right?
It disables most inhibitors and disables most of the brain's functions.
Exactly. I mean, he's already on the ball already. Good job, Joshua.
What happens is when you consume alcohol, it impairs your judgment. So that's the answer right here. And I'm sure, you know, we were talking off camera, you drink alcohol, so you know that, you know, when you get drunk or tipsy, you know, you lose fine motor skills, you don't make the right decisions, your speech can be slurred, you can't walk in a straight line, things like that. And also your judgment, you know, again, decisions. So what happens when you drink alcohol over time in large quantities, what can happen is it can actually shrink your frontal lobe. And that's not good because shrinking your brain, obviously, you're not having as much cognitive function. And, you know, that could even lead to Alzheimer's disease. I mean, one of the many causes, of course it could.
Yep. That I will definitely be thinking about that when I drink later, but I'll probably still drink.
Hope not. After this presentation, I hope not.
Okay, all right. I like that.
So let's go to number two right here. Have you read that for us?
All right, it says this organ filters the blood and excretes a digestive fluid called bile. Is it your intestines?
I'm gonna go with the kidneys.
Okay, close. It's not the kidneys, but the one that's similar to it also is a filter.
Pancreas?
Not that one.
It's
It's actually one of the biggest ones on the inside of your body.
It starts with an L.
The liver?
It's your liver. That's correct.
Which basically leads to cirrhosis.
Exactly. That's where I was getting. You should come be on this side interviewing me. So, of course, you know, cirrhosis, one of the leading causes there, of course, over drinking, which affects the liver. I mean, you're probably familiar with what the liver does. It filters, you know, the blood, you know, and of course, when that liver is overtaxed, overexhausted, it can break down the process of liver failure, right? And of course, lead to a fatty liver, which of course can lead to other complications, death. Yeah, exactly, death. You know, heart disease, diabetes, you name it. Right.
All right, it says some people want money to spend it at the casinos. Others lose their money on treatment from chemo. What disease am I? What?
What disease is connected?
Cancer?
It's cancer. That's right. That is.
I was reading the first part. I was like, casino? What they got to do with your health?
We were trying to rhyme it a little bit there.
So did you know that drinking alcohol can actually cause cancer?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, some people, you know,
I thought it was smoking. I thought it was smoking mainly. Yeah.
And smoking, yes, can cause cancer, lung cancer. But when you drink a lot of alcohol, it can cause mouth cancer, throat cancer, and then esophagus cancer. So that's, you know, the passageway which everything you eat and drink passes through. Imagine having mouth or esophagus cancer. I mean, that would be very painful.
I don't want to imagine it.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible.
It is. And the thing about cancer is that over 1 million cases are diagnosed. You know, in 2020, that happened. And of course, it happened. It's just increasing the amount of cancer, people that are contracting cancer. And so drinking can actually lower your risk of getting these types of cancer. Okay. You know, so something to definitely be aware of. It's a bad way to go out.
So what would be considered a lot, I guess, is my question.
All right.
A lot of alcohol. Or go ahead. No, I'm not meaning to mess with your thing.
Well, by the time we get to the end, hopefully we'll kind of answer that question.
Number four. It says the cereal brand Cheerios advertises their cereal is low in saturated fat and cholesterol and may reduce the risk of blank disease. High blood pressure.
High blood pressure?
Yeah.
It's connected to high blood pressure. It's connected to high blood pressure.
Heart disease.
Heart disease. That's correct. That's correct. Absolutely. So, of course, heart disease, you know, according to the CDC, heart disease is the #1 killer number one reason of death or cause of death in America, sadly enough. And they also say that one of the leading causes of heart disease is actually drinking alcohol, right?
You want to hear something pretty sad, though?
Go ahead, Joshua.
Altogether, though, is that they've actually constructed an alcohol for dogs, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah. So they're just like, drink with your best friend. I'm just like, no, I don't think that'll be a good idea, because if he has heartworms or any other type of infection, that could kill him spontaneously, just like chocolate.
Wow. So not only the household is drunk, but also the dog is drunk. So no one can no one's leading here in that regard. It's a society full of drunks, unfortunately.
When you drink alcohol, it can raise your risk of heart disease. Your heart pumps the blood throughout all the organs, and in the blood is oxygen. But when you drink too much alcohol, it hinders the heart from really pumping the blood to those areas, and of course lessens the amount of oxygen going to those areas. So it can increase triglycerides in your body. Triglycerides are a type of fat in the blood, and so you get too much of that, it can cause heart failure, heart disease, and just not good as well. And heart disease is actually the leading cause of death in America. So if that's the leading cause of death, and one thing that is directly connected to it is drinking alcohol, you see the correlation?
That should be, yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. I didn't think about that, and I did not know that heart disease came from alcohol, so...
Yes, and again, you can get from other...
A contributing factor.
Then what do they consider alcohol? Because you do know, studies do show that correlationally, wine is actually beneficial for you, and you can actually drink about 1 or 2 glasses of wine a day, and it actually has long-term health benefits, not detriment. So, what are they considering as alcohol?
And we're going to get their words after we finish this right up, right? I'm going to give you those stats exactly from not only the USDA, but also from the CDC as well. So let's go to number 5, and I'm going to come right back to what you said, all right? So don't forget your point there.
The name of the organ that isn't working properly when you have diabetes. See, again, I should know this, but I'm on camera and I feel weird. Hold on.
You said it earlier.
Yeah, right. So it's your kidneys.
The one you said after that.
My pancreas.
Yes.
There we go.
All right. So when you drink too much alcohol, you get pancreatitis. Itis means the inflammation of, and then of course the pancreas. An inflamed pancreas is not good. I mean, nothing should be inflamed, right? But inflamed pancreas is not good, because since this is the organ that filters or regulates rather the blood sugar in your body, if it's inflamed, it's not working properly. Therefore, your blood sugars could be too high or too low, and you can possibly develop even type 2 diabetes, because this is what regulates that insulin. Plus, an acute case of this can cause diarrhea, can cause abdominal pain, and some other discomforts that you don't want to have. Now, you asked the question earlier, how much is too much alcohol? So to answer that question, I'm actually going to tell you what the CDC says concerning alcohol.
Now you mentioned wine. You mentioned wine, right? And on I believe on the website of the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, they actually mention, along with the CDC, they actually mention
drinking a little wine may be good, as you said, the antioxidants and things of that nature. It may help with lowering your risk of heart disease and whatnot. But when you read it, they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth, because then they say the less alcohol you drink, the better. But it gets worse.
This is actually from the United States Department of Agriculture. They also recommend that people who don't drink alcohol don't start for any reason. So if they say, if you're not drinking alcohol, don't even start. So the question begs to ask, why say that a little wine, a little alcohol is good for the heart because it lowers, but at the same time, if you don't drink, don't start at all.
CDC says that?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. They say, frankly. So if wine is so good, why would they say if you don't drink, don't start for any reason? Because if you actually read it, they are telling you, quote unquote, some benefits, but then they're telling you the negative effects as well. So the thing about wine is, where does it originally come from? It comes from the whole grapes.
Right.
So the true benefits of the antioxidants and the other properties which help to lower your risk of heart disease and other diseases come from the whole grapes. So if you eat the whole grapes, consume the fresh grape juice, you're actually getting more benefits than waiting to drink the fermented one. You see?
I do see that, and I am very sad a little bit. Yeah. But you have a lot of good points, and I definitely will be considering my alcohol usage.
Right. And, this is biblical as well, because God wants us to have a mind that is sound, a mind that is open to hear his voice. And if our judgment is impaired and we're not taking care of our bodies, he can't really communicate with us as he wants to. Proverbs 20 verse 1 says, wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. Whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. So let's not be deceived by alcohol thinking it's good when the Bible and even science, if you study it in connection with the Bible, shows us it's not good.
I like it, man. I totally, you've made me really consider drinking and alcohol, but I do have a lot of bourbon that I'm going to consume at some point, so maybe I'll just try to give it away.
Or, the sink is ready to drink it too.
That's true. You're right. You're right. Well, I appreciate this. This has been fun.
Yes, thank you so much. I want to leave you with a gift
Right on.
for your participation.
Cool.
And you have a blessed day. Thanks, Chris.
Any last comments for us?
No last comments, but I absolutely do thank you guys for your time. Thank you for the wisdom, because again, I did not know alcohol led to cancer, so I definitely learned some wise tools and some wise information today.
Thank you so much, friends, for joining us on another Healthful Living 365 Health Hack. And as you can see on the board, we were discussing the negative side effects of alcohol consumption. And truly, it is bad for your health. So let us remember Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 1, which says, wine is a mocker, and strong drink is raging. Whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. And God wants to make each one of us wise, even unto salvation. So until next time, God bless.